Story 1. Purchase land and construct affordable housing for first-time buyers. Commission a large gold statue of my impressive mustache. Story 2. Help my family first of all, and make sure they can all live a life where they don't have to work if they don't want to. Then, I will try to live my best life while donating to and helping others in need. Story 3. I will open an orphanage that helps young children on the streets by providing food, shelter, and access to education. Additionally, I will establish a facility for elderly individuals living on the streets, ensuring they are comfortable and have access to a dedicated hospital. We cannot take our money with us when we pass, but we can use it to change lives for the better and restore dignity to those vulnerable elderly individuals in need. Story 4. I tell you what I would do. 2 women at the same time. Story 5. First, ensure my family and all my loved ones are secured for life. Then, begin examining the problems in the world to determine how financial support could assist in solving them. Story 6. 1 billion is a significant amount of money. Hire a lawyer and a financial consultant. Renovate my condominium to match my taste. Ensure my immediate family will never be in need of anything. Get a new bicycle and a new computer. Buy a dozen eggs. Story 7. Buy abandoned properties, demolish them, and create my own park. Plant some trees and perhaps a walking trail. Story 8. Set up my loved ones with their own businesses, allowing them to pursue what they love and try to make a living from it. Story 9. Purchase some houses and toys and determine how to support my family and friends. Then, figure out how to donate to deserving charities and causes that I believe in and that are well managed. Story 10. Purchase a plot of land, build houses for everyone in our community, become self-sufficient, and disconnect from the outside world. Story 11. Buy an island, ensure I have internet, food, chefs, and cleaning staff, and then disconnect from the rest of the world. Story 12. Continuously donate to arts programs in the high schools of my hometown to ensure they are not overshadowed by sports programs. Story 13. A billion is 1,000 million. No one with a working heart and conscience is extracting and hoarding all that. What will you do after your first billion? Probably something morally repugnant. Story 14. It's frustrating to deal with elections and see things worsen while complaining about how challenging it is to be me. It's the oath you have to take. Story 15. I would first purchase land and build homes for my family. I would also ensure that both my parents and my husband's parents are secure. Additionally, I would set aside funds for my children's futures. Then, I would open a foundation to help the less fortunate lead better lives and establish a business to maintain a steady income. Finally, we would travel the world to places we never imagined possible. Story 16. I would gladly pay it forward. I try to help out in any way I can, but I am currently not in a position to do so. If I were, it would make a much bigger difference. Story 17. Save 50 million for me and 50 million for my son. With the rest, buy land, lots of it. Plant a huge forest. Make it a sanctuary for wildlife. Whenever I hear someone at a gathering saying, "I have a Lamborghini," I would reply, "How lovely, I have a forest." Story 18. $10,000 shopping spree. As for the rest, read about how to best use it to support charitable causes. Story 19. I take care of myself by purchasing a home far from this chaotic country, taking care of my family and friends, ensuring I can live comfortably for the rest of my life, building affordable housing, and protecting it from greed. I want to be clear, it would be in that order. I am not naive. Story 20. Drive others out of their money and become a force for good, changing the status quo so that wealthy individuals are genuinely good people who should be idolized. This would be a 30-year business endeavor, but it would be worth it. Story 21. Buy land and build houses for my family. Establish a fund for my nephews and nieces' education. Create a fund to send local people to university. Build a park and name it something fun. I would actually do something to benefit others, not just myself or my family. Story 22. Buy a large plot of land, build a house, and create an animal sanctuary to clean out the shelters, allowing animals to live out the rest of their lives comfortably. Story 23. Build a small district with affordable housing in the center. I would create a park for families, featuring a bronze statue of myself with a rotation mechanism so that it always points toward the sun. Then I would pay my taxes so that billionaires see it is possible. After that, I would purchase a catamaran and sail around the world until I develop skin cancer. Story 24. Secure the future for my parents, my 2 sisters, and my 2 closest friends. Purchase a newer car and a house situated deep in the forest. Story 25. I will likely stay in my 9-to-5 job. Once I am financially secure, I can truly focus on helping my employer increase profits. Story 26. I plan to buy a decent place, have an advisor, and do some work traveling first. I am American and have never visited outside the United States before. After that, I will donate some money toward childhood cancer research and epilepsy research, as both are worthy causes in my opinion. Story 27. An American here. The standard operating procedure is to never pay taxes again and to start a crusade of exploiting the lower class until the time of your death. Story 28. Sheesh, you all are being nice, but that is exactly the reason you may not become rich. Becoming rich requires a strong desire for wealth, a desire that conveys no amount of money is ever enough. Story 29. After taking care of my family's modest bills, marrying my girlfriend, and improving our new home, I would save enough money to live without concern for our futures. That doesn't require $1 billion, so I would have a lot left over. This would go to social services, charities, educational foundations, and anything else I can support that will lead to a better future for as many people as possible. I don't need a lot of money. Story 30. I want to ensure my child and her children are taken care of. I plan to move my mother here with me. I aim to complete all the home renovation projects I desire and pay off the house. I want to finish building my food truck. I intend to provide financial support to my ex for full custody, giving our daughter the power to choose where she lives. I would like to help a few friends. I want to start nonprofit organizations in my local area and reinvest in the community. I plan to pay off the mortgage and purchase the homes of several older couples I know in the area, so they can live stress-free. I will keep these properties as rental properties when the time comes. Story 31. Help everyone I care about, set up charities for children, veterans, and animals, and then disappear. I don't want fame or popularity. I just want to relax somewhere with complete freedom. Of course, I'll still be around from time to time, but I just want to be left alone. Story 32. I would establish separate trust funds for each member of my immediate family. I would allocate a significant amount into a trust fund for my future dependents. I would purchase approximately 20 acres in a semi-rural area and build a modest house, large enough for my family to visit. I would likely hire a personal chef, security personnel, a driver, and a cleaning service, setting aside enough funds to cover these expenses for the next 30 to 50 years. I would invest around $250 million in the stock market and use the dividends and profits for my day-to-day expenses, while reinvesting any remaining funds into the previously mentioned trust funds. Finally, once everything is settled, I would invest in and start a software development studio to pursue various ideas and projects I have in mind. While profitability would be preferable, software development is a passion of mine, and I enjoy doing it. If profitable, the earnings would be reinvested into the business and possibly into philanthropic endeavors. Story 33. By Elliday Island. Ensure proper Wi-Fi and electricity. Add a landing strip for deliveries. A peace at last. Story 34. Just kidding, I would take $10 million and invest it in dividend stocks, using the profits for charity not because I am good, but because I want people to perceive me as good, similar to what Bill Gates does. I would likely want to create a business to turn that $1 billion into $100 billion, as many billionaires strive to do. With that growing wealth, I would also want to establish government connections like Elon Musk, because money isn't the only form of power. Getting involved in government can ensure I receive many benefits primarily for my own wealth and influence. By the way, that isn't me if you didn't understand, but that's how many billionaires operate. Story 35. In this hypothetical scenario, I assume I suddenly have $1 billion in the bank, perhaps from winning a gigantic jackpot after taxes. I would ensure my mother and two of my three siblings are set up for life. I might send the third sibling a gift card for $10. I would purchase a large piece of land in a location of my choice, most likely Northern California. I would have a fully customized three-bedroom house built to my liking, complete with a nice workshop and hobby space. Additionally, I would buy decent apartments or houses in several different cities to allow for frequent movement and comfortable stays in properties I own. I might acquire properties in Los Angeles, New York City, Austin, Chicago, London, and possibly one or two more locations. Nothing extravagant, just nicer two-bedroom apartments or small houses. I would also buy some vehicles. I would likely choose something like a Rivian or an F-150 Lightning as my daily driver. Something big and comfortable. Additionally, I would purchase a few cars that I desire. While I'm not particularly interested in most sports cars, I would love to own a really nice Datsun 240Z and might even consider importing one from Japan. Story 36. I invite the biggest and best. It is the best of the best that has ever existed. Elon takes the stage. Story 37. I would buy my own large island and quietly invite my closest friends to move there with me. Somewhere warm, maybe in the Mediterranean or the Caribbean. Close enough that Europe or the United States is only about an hour away in case of emergencies, allowing us to fly there by helicopter, but far enough away that we are not bothered by anyone. Story 38. I would ensure I live comfortably for the rest of my life. After that, I would begin investing heavily because I believe it is my responsibility to keep that money in circulation. I probably wouldn't be a billionaire for very long. Dragons shouldn't exist. Story 39. I quit my job to ensure that my parents, sister, and extended family no longer have to worry about money. With $1 billion, I could provide for most of my family for life and still retain over 98% of the funds. At that point, I would likely start giving away money randomly. I imagine that giving random individuals $100,000 would feel quite rewarding and would not significantly deplete my resources. The interest on such a large amount, even in options like certificates of deposit or high-interest savings accounts, would be substantial, potentially tens of millions per year. Story 40. Buy a large plot of land in the mountains. Build a house with all the amenities I enjoy for entertainment. Only leave when necessary and interact only with the people I choose to see. Story 41. I would buy every baseball team and make them all wear dresses. Story 42. In the first few days, I will buy a new MacBook, take a flight to Amsterdam, and engage in online shopping until I am satisfied. In the long run, I hope to find a sustainable way to give back to those who need it most. Story 43. I would tell no one except my wife. We would likely purchase a modestly sized home within driving distance of our friends and family. As our current home was destroyed by Hurricane Helene, I would keep a reasonable amount for us and our son to live off in the future without stress. I would then do my best to research options to donate the remaining majority to a charity that I believe helps the world and other people. As far as work goes, thankfully I somewhat enjoy my job, so I would stick with it as long as I enjoyed it. But I would keep an eye out for careers that would allow me to make a greater difference in the world, rather than always stressing about supporting my family and providing the best life for them. Eventually, I would likely tell our son when he was an adult. I would prefer him not to grow up with a silver spoon and to be motivated to work for what he needs, preparing him better for this world. Story 44. Hire individuals for hire. Create fear among people in high positions to motivate them to improve the country. No one will work effectively for an extended period, so fear is the only way to encourage them to act. Additionally, enjoy a normal billionaire lifestyle by racing cars and engaging in engineering projects. Story 45. I would not be good at being wealthy. I would end up behaving badly like many billionaires. I would have to give it away or I would lose myself. Story 46. Set up non-profit organizations under sections 501(c)(3), 501(c)(4), and 501(c)(6) to funnel money for running issue advertisements that subtly attack politicians I oppose, while funding campaigns I support. I would also establish and fund think tanks that develop policies I want to promote. I would provide grants to colleges to create foundations on campus that advocate political and economic ideals I favor. Story 47. Build amazing sanctuaries for street dogs in impoverished areas of Mexico and India, and employ homeless individuals who seek work. Story 48. Become a multimillionaire and work daily to remain a multimillionaire. I see no other ethical choice. No one needs that much money. Story 49. I would move in silence, focusing on what is feasible, just at a faster pace. I plan to start my own business, primarily as a front, purchase a modest house to live in, acquire rental properties discreetly, give my cars the much-needed care and modest upgrades, and gradually become more generous with those around me, while slowly indulging in new possessions for myself, all while my business grows. I want to enjoy my wealth, and a significant part of that involves being generous, but I do not want people to ask for it or feel entitled to anything. Story 50. Buy a small farmhouse with a white wooden fence, an old truck in the garage, green grass, and garden gnomes. I would sit on a folding chair under a tree and watch the house from a distance, sigh happily, smile, press a button, and blow it all up. Story 51. Give a couple of million to close family and friends. Then, pay off my house and car. I would live normally without work and comfortably after that. I would probably donate to reputable charities and go on nice vacations. Story 52. I would honestly try to connect with the finest models for payment. Is that wrong? Once I have that out of my system, I would support good people financially. I would make it my life's purpose to help others, especially those dealing with depression and addiction. Story 53. I have a plan for if I ever win the lottery. I will take 50% and put it into a trust with a list of people I have already prepared who have come into my life. They will all receive equal shares, and it will remain anonymous. I will also be included in the trust so they won't know it is me. My daughter will automatically receive 10%, and my niece and nephew will each receive 5%. With the remaining 30%, I want to buy abandoned buildings that can be converted into low-cost housing. The only rent will be enough to cover shared utilities, a maintenance fund, insurance, and property tax. With my share of the trust, I will sell my current home and build an animal rescue in the country. Story 54. Retire and enjoy a much-needed holiday with my wife. Appreciate the finer things in life. Spend the rest of my days setting up trust funds and donating to worthy causes, and hopefully pass away penniless. Story 55. Help all the people who helped me. Just show up with a suitcase and hand it over to them. Then start genuinely helping those who truly need assistance. I would definitely give my wife and children the best of everything. Additionally, I aim to make a positive impact wherever possible. Story 56. Pay my taxes, invest 99% into index and mutual funds, and put 1% in a checking account to start paying off my family's debts. I will support my niece and nephews through college and then travel the world. After that, I will begin distributing money to food banks, underfunded schools, and homeless programs using the annual returns from the investments. Story 57. Reading the responses, I don't think most of us truly understand the magnitude of $1 billion. The interest on that, at a rate of 4%, is over $100,000 a day. You could spend $35 million this year and still have $1 billion since you didn't even spend the interest. I'll pay off my house and buy a nice car. Okay, but what about the other $999 million? Oh wait, it made $3 million in the 30 days it took you to close those transactions, so you are back up to $1,002 million now. Don't get me wrong. I am always here answering these kinds of windfall questions, saying I want to do affordable housing in my area. But $1 billion is honestly a ridiculous number for an individual to work with. Story 58. Divide the funds into accounts that provide each family member access to a limited amount of money, allowing them to live comfortably each week. If they need additional funds, they must request permission to withdraw more and provide evidence of how they plan to spend it. This approach ensures everyone is supported and reduces the risk of them mismanaging their money, as some have done in the past when receiving large sums. My great-grandmother implemented a similar strategy with an uncle for several years before her passing, which helped him avoid homelessness. Story 59. I believe life is easy, and money doesn't matter as much anymore. I would focus on one particular global problem and invest in intelligent people with good ideas to solve it. I listen to a lot of Andrew Huberman, who discusses various studies that often lack sufficient funding. I would like to randomly fund several of these initiatives. Story 60. Set up investments for ongoing income. Purchase a piece of rural land and build a decent house on it. Donate to causes I am passionate about. Work on completing the multiple canceled council housing developments and return them to the council to assist people in need of housing. Engage in property development by selling houses just above the construction cost, ensuring first-time homebuyers have priority. Utilize the investment income to further assist others. Story 61. Pay for all meals for schools, including breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Additionally, cover the debt that children have incurred. It is unreasonable. Story 62. I would always buy everyone's ticket right behind me in line. Whether it was at the grocery store, a restaurant, or a movie theater, I would pay for the person behind me. Story 63. Invest large sums of money in the government to influence public policy in order to retain most of my wealth, prioritizing my interests over those of society. This is typical behavior for billionaires. Story 64. Have a second baby and continue being a stay-at-home mom. Give my parents a few $1,000,000 and ask them to retire. Invest. Story 65. Disappear from existence away from you ordinary people, as I would prefer to live my best life in private. It's similar to what I do now, but without any money in the bank. I would just be draped in silk. Story 66. Retain a lawyer, hire a financial advisor, create an email account for every variation of my name, and start looking for a new place to live, preferably not under my own name. Once the practical matters have been sorted out, I need to find a way to balance being charitable, helping out family, and being selfish. Personally, I would love to get a camper and travel for a while, or tour North America on a motorcycle. Story 67. I have many ideas, but essentially, I want to help myself, my husband, my family, and his family get out of debt. I also want to assist any of my friends who need support, invest significantly, build my dream skating rink business, and donate to reputable charities as well as individuals who need help paying down their student loans or purchasing a house. My dream is to be able to help anyone who needs it. Story 68. I will pay off my debt and the debt of my family and friends. I don't need billions. That's why I think I would donate a significant amount. Story 69. Try to protect nature and animals as much as possible, for example, by buying land. Consider taking action against corrupt individuals and those who cause significant harm. Story 70. Set up a rent-to-own scheme at a loss. Build modular mixed-use homes in every major city and provide low-interest mortgages tied to income. You stay for 10 years and receive the house. Story 71. I plan to donate money to small streamers, creators, and Etsy shop owners, so they can receive a boost and do what they love. I am serious about this. There are many creators who entertain me, and I want to express my gratitude to them if I ever achieve success. Story 72. Eliminate all other billionaires to reduce competition. The more of my peers are unavailable, the greater relative power I would have due to my wealth. Story 73. Pay off all debts, buy a reliable and affordable car, donate some, take a nice vacation, purchase new clothes, and buy a comfortable little house. Story 74. Pay off my mother's student loans and the various debts they have taken on for me, pay off my loans, hire a financial advisor to double-check my calculations, and figure out how much I really need to comfortably maintain my current lifestyle, including enough disposable income to go on a trip once a year. I also want to build a system to manage responsible distributions from an investment account so I don't get tempted to spend it. Once that's done, the real work begins. I don't trust myself with that much money. I might find some foolish way to lose or spend it all, and the scarcity mindset is difficult to overcome. I would want to give it away in the most constructive way possible. There are many nonprofit organizations in my area that have helped me and people I know, libraries that need more funding, and public land that requires sponsorship. I would want to contact them, conduct thorough research to see who needs funding, and start distributing. Of course, that is easier said than done. Money brings power, and power can corrupt. I know it is wiser to build a foundation that grows the money and distributes it over time. However, I was involved with a family that attempted this approach, and it negatively impacted them. They treated it as a form of karmic balancing, as if the annual donations compensated for their daily behavior. Therefore, I would like to believe I could adhere to my principles long enough to give away the surplus, even if that is naive. Story 75. Buy multiple franchises, such as sports and restaurants, like the 49ers and Jack in the Box. I like the 49ers, and their tacos are excellent. The turnaround rate would be incredible. Story 76. I just answered this yesterday. Pay off Elon Musk and Donald Trump to ensure they step down and are never heard from again. Story 77. I already live a comfortable life on a £50,000 salary. As I am now a billionaire, I will double it to £100,000 per year for the remaining 50 years of my life and give the rest to homeless organizations I have supported for years. I don't need solid gold Ferraris and super yachts to be happy. I have my wife and daughter. That's more than enough for me. Story 78. Buy a lot of land, a big house, and some cars. I would start a charity similar to a thrift store, but everything would be free. I would especially focus on salvaging and reusing electronics like computers. People could drop off their computers, and we would wipe and reload the operating system so someone else could use it. I would also start a business. I would buy a few small restaurants and make all the employees part owners. It would essentially run as a non-profit, with all the profits being split among the employees. Friends and family would get to eat there regularly, which would be my benefit. I would donate some of the money to charities I support, such as food banks. I would help family members with any debts. Some would receive a house or a car, or whatever I thought they needed most. Everyone would receive a little cash, around $5,000 to $10,000, just to have fun with, while encouraging them not to become lazy or quit their jobs. I would offer interest-free loans to any family member with a solid business plan. I would provide them with the money, but I would want them to think of it as a loan at first. Any leftover funds would be invested in the stock market for growth. Story 79. Honestly, after ensuring my family is secure for life, I would take a long break to truly enjoy life without stress. Then I would focus on projects that excite me instead of just working for money. I would likely invest in businesses I believe in, travel without worrying about budgets, and perhaps fund some innovative projects. Additionally, I would definitely buy a house with a private gym and a home theater, because why not? Story 80. Just start fixing things. Pay off my debt. Set up a trust fund and establish an allowance. Work on becoming a silent benefactor for those who need assistance. Story 81. Travel and see the world, sometimes with friends and family. Build a home completely designed by me. Story 82. Change my name, address, and phone number so family cannot track me down. Then save some, invest some, and help the friends who have always been there for me. Story 83. Firstly, do not tell anyone and hire a lawyer as soon as possible. Eventually, I will tell my family, as I trust them, and make a plan to execute it. I will still live very low-key, avoiding showing off purchases for a while. Story 84. I'll become a millionaire. I won't be able to be me with that much money. $1 million. Yes, that is doable. Story 85. I am not wealthy at the moment, but I spend much of my time and resources assisting at a homeless shelter and food bank. It is essentially the same effort, just on a larger scale. Story 86. Establish a school that provides scholarships for teachers. Train these teachers to excel. Create another school where these excellent teachers will teach. Story 87. Fund the construction of enough guillotines to address the political issues we are currently facing in the United States. Story 88. Well, before this, I probably had 999 million, and then some stock went up a few percent. So, nothing in particular, I guess. Story 89. Hoard it and spend all my effort on figuring out how to get more. I would bribe politicians to ensure that the laws and backdoor deals favor me so that I can acquire even more billions, even if it hurts people who are just trying to survive on a fraction of what I already have. All my will would be bent on increasing the amount of billions I possess. It is my love, my precious. Story 90. This is my fantasy if I ever become unreasonably wealthy. I will buy a million-acre farm and turn it into a non-profit recovery program. I envision 2 tiny house villages, one housing single men with priority for veterans, and a second village for women with priority for single mothers and those who have been abused. The residents will be charged a modest rent. They can seek employment off the farm or become employees of the farm, engaging in activities such as animal care, vegetable farming, working at the farm store, managing the website, running a farmer's market, or participating in forest and land management projects. The goal is for individuals to gain skills and job references to help them transition back to independent living. Some residents, like veterans with post-traumatic stress disorder, may need time to reacclimate to society, and this program could provide that support. We would have several community buildings, including the farm store, and host events such as Pick Your Own Flower or Fruit Days, bluegrass concerts, and classes for residents covering topics like addiction recovery, group therapy, parenting, and computer skills. I would employ a psychologist, a land management expert, a farm manager, a marketing specialist, and a social worker to assist with legal matters. I love planning this in my mind, and I believe it could be a significant success. Story 91. I know myself very well and my tendency for questionable behavior and trolling while being broke. I would inadvertently use my unique perspective to make Elon look normal again. I might end up doing something foolish like buying a town, evicting everyone, and transforming it into the largest paintball range in the world. I would also consider drawing a large design on the moon that could be seen from Earth. If I could afford it, I probably would do it. Story 92. Pay off my debt, ensure both of my children are set up for college, then save half of what remains and invest the rest. Story 93. I would be wealthy without any real skills or knowledge of anything significant. I suppose I would become arrogant and run for president, as that seems to be very popular with voters. Story 94. Buy the SS United States and restore it. I don't care if it's just my private yacht. I would restore that ship and cruise around on it. Story 95. Now, if you were working for years to become a billionaire and finally achieved it, you would pursue your second billion. You have been working all your life, and now you are in control. You would not change. I would buy a beautiful house on a tropical island and live like a king, never to be seen again. Story 96. I will probably donate some money to my university so they can name a building or school after me. There is a significant amount of research in environmental sciences that needs to be studied, but there is not enough funding available. Story 97. Beyblades. A massive tournament. I would rent a large stadium in a nearby city. Participants would receive a brand new stock blade upon entry and be placed into a tournament pool with around 200 entries. The event would be free, attracting various participants. To enhance the experience, the grand prize would be a Beyblade. Additionally, I would ensure there are quality hot dog vendors at the stadium. Story 98. I would share a significant amount of money with people. I would start with substantial donations to medical research, hospitals, underfunded schools, shelters for all, food banks, animal sanctuaries, environmentally friendly initiatives, scholarships, and organizations focused on homelessness and reproductive health. I would likely establish my own foundation to invest the funds, ensuring a continuous return to support outstanding work locally, nationwide, and internationally. I would also provide direct assistance to individuals in need. I would keep a few million to live an exceptional life with 3 houses spread across the world. I would enjoy time with my friends and family, helping them retire early if they choose. We would have lavish dinners that last all night, pool parties, karaoke, and game nights, the enjoyable experiences that bring us together. I wouldn't spoil my children, but they would receive a generous nest egg to buy a nice house and car when they're ready, graduate without student debt, have a fully funded emergency fund, and be secure regarding their retirement. Story 99. It's what I wouldn't do, my friend. Change my own sheets. 2. Clean my own laundry. 3. Wax my own area. Story 100. Buy a house in the White Mountains, go backpacking in the Grand Canyon, Patagonia, Greenland, Kazakhstan, Tibet, and Australia. I plan to support my family members, invest, and donate most of what is left over. Story 101. Most people do not magically become billionaires except for those involved in cryptocurrencies. Often, they invest money over decades or build businesses. Therefore, anything done after becoming a billionaire is likely similar to what was done before achieving that status. Story 102. Open factories and put people to work. If you give a person a fish, they are hungry the next day. If you teach a person how to fish, they will never be hungry. Story 103. Well, first off, I would keep it to myself. The more people know, the more you will be hounded to give them money for something. Second, I would try to stay grounded and assess my financial situation. I need to be very smart about the money because if I'm not, it will all be gone in the blink of an eye. I wouldn't start thinking about all the materialistic things I could have. I would concentrate more on how to fulfill my needs now and make the money last for the rest of my life. Material items cannot be taken with you when you die, and the richer you live, the more you will attract the wrong people to you. Sure, if I had family that really needed help, I would assist them, but only if they prove they will better themselves after receiving assistance. You wouldn't want them to expect you to support them for the rest of your life. After my needs are met, I would figure out something good to do with the money, like give back to the community or start something that would help people. I just want to be comfortable in life. I don't yearn to be rich. If I had a lot of money, I would want to help people who have fallen on hard times and be a support for them, but only if they want to improve their situation. Too many people nowadays want things for nothing and expect it. Story 104. I would secure my situation first by acquiring a modest house, a decent car, and basic appliances. This will likely make only a small dent in my billion. From there, I would probably hire someone for financial advice. I want to help as many people as possible, but not in a way that depletes the funds immediately. Instead of helping 1,000 people at once, I would prefer to assist 100 people per year over several years to extend the impact of my wealth and generosity. This is a high-level overview, but I believe it captures the essence of what I aspire to achieve. Story 105. Buying $5 million worth of Counter-Strike skins. Investing $100 million in the Standard & Poor's 500. Investing $100 million in real estate. Investing $100 million in an individual company. Investing $100 million in Bitcoin and Ethereum, 100 million each. I would need to consider what to do with the remaining $495 million. Story 106. I would keep $25 million for myself and form a foundation to give the rest away to charities focused on ending hunger and homelessness. Alternatively, I might build as many starter homes as possible and make them income restricted so that those in the greatest need could have a home. Story 107. Change my name. Move away from people I know. Buy a lot of land and a log cabin equipped with wind, solar, and water power. Maintain distance from anyone nearby. Acquire some horses. Have a barn and a separate house for the caretakers of my cows and horses. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.